disturbance to you because of that fear of man. She's like, man, you are destined for this. You're destined to write songs over people. You're destined to sing over people what's in your heart. I just think when you sing to those tracks, it's like, wait. That's what she basically told me. And singing other people's songs. It's like when you sing other people's songs, it's okay. When you sing the ones that God has given you to sing, man, there's nothing like it, Jason. And so I fought her till I still fight. The other day I was telling her, man, I don't like this particular CD. I remember, it's like, I think I'll just throw it in the trash. Not have it out and go. There was something particular about it that I didn't like. It was more about the spirit of a season that I was in than it was about that actual CD. And my wife said, well, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. She said to me the other night, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He said, every one of your CDs ministers to me. I got to thinking about that as I went to bed that night, and I was like, that is pretty cool that my wife, man, she listens to my CDs. I mean, that's better than that. You know what I mean? She could be picketing me. You know what I mean? That's what John Wesley's wife did. You know what I mean? I was just like, well, she gets ministered to. My kids listen to Jacob's Dream every night. And I've allowed, I'll tell you, to be just transparent with you, I've allowed people's pickiness of that. I remember people, when I wanted to record a CD that way, for a long time, we're working on a new project called Beautiful People that I'm recording very similar in the round in the studio with Intercessor. And it's just, I don't know, it was like God just gave me that way of doing it. And it was when I did Jacob's Dream, it was in the season when CCM and worship music was just like so perfect. So it seemed like so weird, you know what I mean, to do it that way. And I remember listening to people. That is just, it's yeah, you got a great heart, but that that Psalm 23 is 9 minutes long. People will be sleeping before they get to the next track. I mean, people will say things like that. But you know, the more I grow in this thing, the more I realize it really isn't even their fault for saying that. It's just my fault for listening to it. You know, so that gets back to what you asked, you know. And the real problem I find is, that's what I said earlier, I got so much time on my hands just dealing with me. And if I'll just allow myself to be what God made me to be. You know, I had this happen to me for years too, and I want to release you this, but this is a great thing that, you know, the fear of man is really self-idolatry. Because what you're really doing, it's the root of it is self-idolatry. It's that I want to control something to make you like me. Well, Jesus said that's impossible. And so, anyway, I think sometimes just really getting to a place in our lives where we just say, God, all right. We did this Dear John song the other night. I'm in Plano, Texas. I'm telling you, in 7 years, I guarantee you in my heart, I'm sitting there with these guys in a room in Plano, Texas, and I said, that is absolutely the worst worship experience I have ever had. I was so disappointed. I was so frustrated with myself. I mean, it probably felt to me like it feels to some of you tonight. But everybody out here was feeling it, and I was up there going, ugh, what is it? Having to sing and lead at the same time, feeling like this is terrible. And I'm sitting there. And I was so upset about it, I couldn't sleep. I was like, what in the world just happened? That was horrible. And I asked everybody in the band what they thought of it, and they all thought it was horrible too. So they're not off the hook. It wasn't just me that thought it was horrible. Everybody on that stage thought it was horrible. all thought it was horrible. So, you go to the next night. The next night was a little bit better. People there are awesome. That's what was so frustrating. They're just so awesome. And I was like, I felt so bad that I just so let them down. By my pathetic life. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking. I was like, this is so pathetic. I feel nothing up here. I'm just like, obviously, I'm just totally cold. I was like, I never am this way. I'm worshiping, and I'm just like, do you remember when our mothers met? That's what I felt like. Mama told me that they laughed. That's at first. I might as well have been singing in a bar. I was just like this. You know what I mean? That's what I felt like. I felt like that. I wasn't doing that. You see what I'm saying? But I felt like that in my spirit. I was like, and I don't like that. When I feel that way, I feel like a total fake. I'm just not able. I'm not made that way. So it's like I was like, I'm a fake. Born to spirit. So fake. Da-da-da-da. Just thinking that. And I just want to stop. But I'm at somebody else's conference. It's not my thing. So I get a call from my brother-in-law the other day. He said, dude, Plano was awesome. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm listening to the CD. I'm balling over here. I said, what night? The second night. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was okay. He said, no, the first night. He said, I've been listening all year to Dear John. I've never heard one as powerful as this. He said, the presence of God is so strong on this thing. He said, I can't even get out of my car. So he leaves me a message that says that. Or my wife left it for me, actually. I was like, that's because David is deaf. I did. I really said that. I said, David doesn't have a clue about music. He doesn't know anything. He's just deaf. David does our website. And I said, he doesn't know what's going on. And I actually had that in my spirit. I get the CD yesterday. And I start listening to it. And I start crying. I'm like, how does that work? Let me pray over you one last time. Jesus, I thank you for these sons and daughters of the living God. And I thank you for Stuarts Draft, Virginia. I thank you for the leaders. Thank you for your pastors. I thank you for your children that are here. And more than that, I thank you for your kingdom. Thank you that you're establishing it here on earth as it is in heaven. I just pray that as we go on this weekend that we'd be more open than we've ever been. So many places you've already taken, I know, this church locally. Lord, I pray that we'll go to so many new places this next year that we've never even been before, we've never even fathomed. Thank you for that. And I pray for anyone that's discouraged, that they've walked out in their calling and they've been discouraged. I just pray that you'll sing lullabies over them tonight if they sleep. That many of them would hear you say it for the